It's showtime.
What's happening, everybody? Django Fett here, and today I'm here to talk about E3 as a whole for 2017, talking about all the conferences and what I liked overall and what I saw. Also, I want to give a shout out to my friend Matt, aka the Geeks Addict, for this wristband, Legends Never Die, which is pretty awesome. Just in lieu of Star Wars, if you want to get this, I would recommend you check them out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and whatnot, and I'll try to put the links down below in the description, and get yourself a wristband for yourself, which is pretty awesome. I'll be wearing this the rest of the video. You'll probably not notice. So overall, I thought it was a really good E3 as a whole. Best E3 in years, I have to say. There wasn't like colossal big games by any means, but pretty solid overall with all of the conferences. And the first time, really, we've seen YouTube as the outlet for E3 instead of Twitch and whatnot. This was great. I thought YouTube did a fantastic job overall, and the hosts and hostesses did a really good job, and I loved it. It wasn't them, talking. It was them talking after the conferences were over and before, and them speculating, but in the they didn't interrupt or anything like that, and I thought they did a fantastic job overall. I would love to see them do it again next year, with YouTube hosting it. I just didn't really like how Twitch approached it, and I always have issues with it when I try to stream it. Honestly, YouTube did a great job. So let's first talk about the EA conference with what they had. So all they had was sports. That was the majority. I mean, they're the biggest thing for sports games out there. And it was just sports nonsense throughout the whole conference. I wasn't a big fan of that. I don't really play sports games. It's been a while since I played a sports game and really enjoyed it. So it just wasn't for me. But there is a big audience garnered for that. And then there was a bad Need for Speed game that was just shown, and it looked pretty, just not very good at all. It just, if it's not Forza, it's not realistic like that, or have a big open world like that, I just can't buy into it. And plus that whole, that funny debacle that happened with that YouTuber, oh my god, it was freaking hilarious. And then we have A Way Out. This is a co-op sort of game, and honestly, it's from the creators of Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, and I'm a big fan of Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. But it's just, honestly, I gotta turn on this light because this is ridiculous. It's just not that type of game for me. It's just, I mean, I love Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. Can't wait to see what the creator does as a whole, but it just, for me, this is a completely different game. I expected more of the Brothers formula, and this is like a co-op split-screen experience. Sounds cool on paper, but I just don't feel like it looks very interesting at all. Then we have the big one being the EA Star Wars Battlefront 2. And it looks good, okay? They showed off gameplay, and I'm showing it to you guys right now. Gameplay, a trailer. It looks good, okay? I will give it that. It looks good. It looks like it's going to be from the prequel trilogy. It looks like it's going to be from the original trilogy, as well as the, the old, or the new one, the Force Awakens era. So, they're going to have a single-player campaign for once now. And it's going to bridge the gap between Return of the Jedi and the Force Awakens, and 3 times the content, when they didn't have any content to begin with when they first had the frickin' game. Yeah, I mean, 3 times the content means jack to me, alright? So it's gonna have the prequel era. It's supposed to have class customization and heroes, which looks pretty cool. Supposedly no DLC and season pass, but I bet you money that they will put microtransactions up the ass with this game. I bet you like crazy. Did everyone forget the Star Wars Battlefront 1 debacle with the season pass? Did everyone forget that? It was $50. And after the controversy with that, and the hate they were getting, EA as a whole, they still went with it. And people still ended up paying $50 and nonsense, and all these fanboys were just buying into it as a whole, and they just it was just bullshit in the end. Like, they still had that. They didn't like, you know, okay, maybe we should change that or we should get rid of it altogether. They still went with that shit, and they went with that the whole year, you know, with the season pass and all that bullshit. Okay, they still went with that shit. But the game as a whole looks good. But I'm skeptical. I am just still skeptical after what they did with the first game. And you know, the first game had the same appeal just like this game right now. It had a lot of things, but I'm not a blind fanboy this time around. And I know they just will fuck up in the end. I really do. I don't think it will be as great as many people say it is, and thinking it's going to be the greatest game ever. I'm still very skeptical. We'll see how it goes in the end. Also, what is up with this image right here? How did, like, this red Battlefront image, I guess it's like a clone, or he transferred into another body. This is like a direct ripoff of Dark Empire, pretty much in a nutshell. That storyline within the Legends. Just like, really? This is what you could come up with next? Fuck you, EA, and fuck you, Disney. Moving right along into the Microsoft E3 conference, we have the console now called the Xbox One X. Not a big fan of the name, though. It's, you know, it's just a name. It's not a big deal for me. It's kind of weird how they named it Xbox One X if they had the Xbox One S. It's kind of weird, but it's not a deal breaker by any means. And supposedly it'll be in 4K and 60 frames per second for most games, which is pretty ridiculous. I mean, at $499, that's a hell of a deal. I mean, not even my system can run most games at 4K 60 frames per second. I mean, that's asking a lot for your system right there, and I'm not gonna believe it that it's gonna be 4K 60 frames, especially 60 frames, until I see it. But I'm actually gonna buy into the system with my brother also, you know, helping me out with buying it as well, because he's a big Xbox guy and I'm an Xbox guy too, but you know, I'm PC first, of course. But it just really intrigues me that it's 4K 60 frames per second. That's just a really intriguing prospect as a whole. I'm just pretty excited to see what they will, you know, how this console will do in the end, and the competition it will bring with PlayStation, or Sony I should say. Plus, they unveiled some big things right here. This one being the biggest. I'll talk about the games in a second. They revealed backwards compatibility, and when I heard that they were coming up with it, backwards compatibility, I was thinking, are they doing it? Are they really gonna do it? They already did with Xbox 360. Are they gonna go the next step further? And they did. They just did with that. So they revealed they're having backwards compatibility not only for the Xbox 360, but for the original Xbox. This is huge. Not even Sony is doing anything like this. Like, this is pretty freaking huge as a whole. I'm pretty excited for this, because for people like myself who like to play the original Xbox games and not being able to play those games, it's huge. Like, I couldn't even play them on the Xbox 360 after, what, it was like 2 or 3 years after that console. It stopped. I couldn't be able to play the original Xbox games. And the fact that they went even further and had this is huge. Not even Sony has. And Sony, you have to pay for those, even for the PS3 ones. Like, that's a huge deal breaker. Rebuying your own games. But this one, you can just put in your disc, I guess, and I'm not sure how it'll work and when it's going to be implemented, but you can go back to your original Xbox games and put it in your supposedly Xbox One or Xbox One X. I don't think it really matters, and play those games. It blows me away to think that a console not only has backwards compatibility for the last console, but also backwards compatibility for the last console, like 2 consoles ago. It blows my mind. It's awesome, man. And I have a lot of original Xbox games and Star Wars games that I want to play on the original Xbox, but I have to play it on the original, like the actual original Xbox, and I couldn't even be able to do that. I had to actually physically buy one, and I've been doing that for a while. Now I can just get those games and play it on the Xbox One. That's awesome. I want to know the details soon and when that's going to be implemented. I think this is awesome. This is a really awesome thing overall. Then we have one of the biggest games, Metro Exodus, which is the third game in the Metro series. These games are phenomenal. Great games overall, exploring the apocalypse with these creatures in Russia. In the setting of Russia, there's a post-apocalyptic setting. It's amazing. It looks awesome overall. I'm pretty excited for it. And it was just revealed for Xbox, not really for the PC gaming show. But I'm a big Metro fan, and seeing another game, awesome as hell. That's a really awesome thing. And then weirdly enough, we have Assassin's Creed, the new Assassin's Creed Origins game being revealed in the Xbox conference instead of Ubisoft. Very weird in my opinion. From what I'm seeing, it looks great, but it's kind of weird that Ubisoft didn't reveal it and Microsoft did it. I find that kind of odd. But overall, the gameplay looks fantastic. The setting, phenomenal. I'm pretty hyped for this game. I've never been so excited for an Assassin's Creed game in my life since 4. And I love the Egyptian setting. I love the history. I love the lore. And the fact that we're having an actual Egyptian game, and like we've never really had a big Egyptian game in that setting, like ever, like that's pretty huge for me. That's pretty awesome. And it just looks phenomenal. The setting, and it looks like they have mystical creatures and the Assassin Brotherhood. And I've just stopped with Assassin's Creed games after 4 because it's just been the same old, and the ones after that were just like really bad. We also have Dragon Ball Fighter Z, which looks pretty good. Looks like a 2D fighter. Sea of Thieves, which I'm showing right now, looks pretty cool overall. I really want to know more about this game. It's like a multiplayer pirate game, and it just looks like a really cool, casual pirate game, not too complex, pretty easy to handle, and it looks fun. It looks pretty fun. And we also have Life is Strange, the prequel, sequel thing. I actually really liked the Life is Strange game, and I think it'll be really good. I think the ending was just kind of a deal breaker in my opinion, but the game as a whole was fantastic. I mean, it's better than any of the newest Telltale game shit that's been out. Like, just out like crazy, like one every fucking month practically. It's been ridiculous. I mean, Telltale needs to calm down and go back to its roots and actually have some new mechanics and actually have some different choices, because it's like the same old bullshit throughout their games. But that's just me. Life is Strange, the first one, was actually different, and I respected the shit out of that game. The second one looks like it's only going to be 3 episodes, but I'm pretty interested to see what they're going to do with that game. I still don't understand the Play Anywhere with the Xbox One, with the PC thing, and being able to play Xbox One games to PC. And plus, they weren't really exclusives because they were Xbox One games to the PC. It's just kind of odd in my opinion. And then we have the biggest one, though this just confirms my excitement as a whole for this game. This is my number one. This is clearly my number one game of 2017. And it's Shadow of War. And they showed off some more gameplay. Man, this gameplay, man. Every single gameplay videos they've shown for this game, it's just gotten me so excited for unlike any other game out there. This game looks phenomenal. Like commanding armies, taking over, orcs and trolls and whatnot. It's just mind-blowing to me. And they just showed off more. I'm just like, oh my god, can I have this game now, please? I think it got delayed, which I'm fine with as long as they make the game better. I think it's supposed to come out October. I may be wrong on that. But I'm pretty excited for it. Man. Commanding your armies and fighting against huge armies. It's just mind-blowing overall. Then we have Anthem. This is the brand new IP by BioWare. Graphics look amazing. It's a third-person pseudo Destiny type of game. It looks really good, but I'm just kind of like, it just kind of looks too much like Destiny, and I don't really care about Destiny one bit. It looks good. The dialogue between the other teammates in this game was kind of hokey, not really that good, but it looks interesting. There wasn't really much to go by with this game, other than this early footage. I'm sure it'll come out like not next year. I'm thinking like 2 years from now. But it looks good. I'm just kind of not so much. Then we had Bethesda's E3. And it was completely pointless. There was no point in Bethesda doing a a conference whatsoever, because they pretty much didn't reveal anything. They revealed 2 new games. But when you're doing a conference, you better get out your big guns and not just release fucking DLC, because that's all it was. DLC fucking nonsense. It was utter bullshit. Bethesda, why'd you even do a conference in the first place? I will never understand. But it was just completely stupid. It was definitely the worst conference I've seen in E3 by far in years, and the worst Bethesda E3. Last year's, I think they got away with it because it was fine. But this year's, yeah, it was not good. Quake Champions looks interesting. Dishonored 2 DLC looks like it could be good. The Evil Within Us 2, don't care. It's the first was a failure, so why should I care about the second one? And then Wolfenstein 2. This was, I mean, everybody's looking forward to that. But honestly, I'm just not I'm going to be the first to say this, but I didn't like Wolfenstein 1. Like, the story and all, didn't care for it. It's like, when I play an FPS shooter, I usually play the story all the way through, and I'm usually into it. I like the gameplay, and even though I might not like the story, I'm like into it, you know? Wolfenstein is one of those rare games I was playing and I was trying to get into, and I couldn't do it. I played it for like 2-3 hours, and I was done because it was like just so generic. It was like so Call of Duty, and it was just boring. I was just not invested whatsoever. I just did not like it. And the Wolfenstein 2 looks like the same thing. It looks like it could be better, but I was just not into it. Like, it's just pretty generic. I didn't like the first game, and I probably won't like the second game, and I'm just gonna skip it altogether. As bad as the Bethesda conference was, nothing could prepare me for the PC Gaming Show conference, because it was really bad. I mean, they showed off a couple of hits, like a couple of games I'm interested in. Like, actually just two or three. But overall, that one was pretty bland too. It's really bland. I thought Bethesda was bad. I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched bits and pieces of it, but I'm glad I didn't watch the whole thing because I would have been bored to death. But the first game, BattleTech. A turn-based mech game. Let me tell you guys something you guys might not know about. But I am a mega fan of BattleTech. The thing is, it was based off a board game. And from there, they had books, they had video games of Mech Warrior, and so forth. Now with BattleTech, they had tons of different media. You know, they had the novels, which I got into and could not stop. One of my favorite books of all time is Operation Audacity, and it's phenomenal. Like, it shows off like a bleak mech world, like a galaxy world, which is constantly at war, which is much like Warhammer, but much better, in my opinion, with these different factions and so forth. And it's amazing lore. It's got amazing history, amazing lore. It's got clans who are like these, battle-hungry warriors that are mechs, and Jade Falcon being my clan. That's my clan right there, man. That's my favorite right there. And my favorite mech is the Mad Cat. I love the Mad Cat. Love the Mad Cat. And I'm backing this. They have a Kickstarter up on their website, and they pretty much already made their, you know, their funding, pretty much. But I'm gonna support it because I want the wallpaper and all that. It looks phenomenal. It's a turn-based game, much like the Shadowrun Returns, which is, you know, from the creators of Shadowrun Returns. And it looks really interesting. You can join all these different factions, get on these mechs. For some reason, the Mad Cat's not on there, which is a huge deal breaker for me, but I'm still buying into it because I'm a BattleTech fan. I'm just not a fan of Mech Warrior. I like Mech Warrior, but BattleTech, that's the old school. That's the OG, you know, thing right there. Before there was Mech Warrior, there was BattleTech, and dude, I cannot stop raving about BattleTech. Like the books, I've read so many countless books. I've not read them all, but I read a majority of them, and then eventually it transitioned to Mech Warrior. But let me tell you, those BattleTech books, fucking amazing. The first book I read was Operation Audacity, which I mentioned before. The lore is just phenomenal, and you'd think it would be kind of boring, but it's fucking amazing, man, overall. It's a turn-based game, so you might not like it, you might like it. It's not like those pseudo Mech Warrior games, which you use strategy at the same time, but you're in your cockpit. But this one is a turn-based one, much like the strategic. I think it was Mech Warrior Tactics. I might get the name wrong. I'll put a picture right up above. But it's something like that, but it's more of a turn-based with like four people you can control. I wish there was more later on. I wish it was just 4. But I'm excited for it. It looks fucking amazing. And then I know there was some other games, Total War Warhammer 2, but the bigger one next up is Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlore. This is the sequel to Mountain Blade Warband and those Mountain Blade games. This game looks gorgeous, and I'm excited as hell for this game. I love Mountain Blade Warband with a passion, and us Mountain Blade fans have been waiting for this game for such a long time, and we finally have it, and it looks gorgeous, man. It looks amazing. I mean, just look at this battle over here. I mean, they're just charging. They're not actually clashing just yet, but god damn, does that look good. Then we have Ubisoft C3 with freaking starting off with the Rabbids with the Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle game. I remember playing the Rabbids games in the past on the Wii. I really enjoyed them, and the Rabbids themselves are so freaking hilarious. I love the Rabbids. And it's going to be a turn-based action game, and it looks good. It looks really good overall. Just don't want to reveal too much. Definitely check it out for yourself. But it looks really good. It's definitely a different twist and different change of Mario and Rabbids games. It just looks very interesting overall. Then we also had a 30-minute demo of Assassin's Creed Origins at the end, and it's going to be coming out October 27th. Mark that down on your calendar for those who want to get this game. It looks good. Then we have The Crew 2, which is a sequel to the failure of The Crew 1. Don't really care for The Crew. If it's not Forza Horizon or any of the Forza games, and I don't care for any of the other racing garbage out there. It's nothing compared to Forza. Then we have Skull and Bones, and it looks pretty cool. It's pretty much an enhanced Assassin's Creed 4 for multiplayer, in which you customize your own ship, have a group of teammates, 4 or 5, and you verse 5, 4 or 5, different enemies, and complete objectives and get as much loot as you can. It's pretty much Assassin's Creed 4 2.0 in a nutshell. It just plays just like Assassin's Creed 4 in a nutshell. It's just that's kind of what bothers me. Like, it's just they don't enhance too much. I mean, they do get you good new weapons and overall like new customization. It looks, just look at this shit. It looks pretty cool, but it just looks kind of like the same old. But it does look very interesting overall. The mechanics look very interesting. You can definitely do a lot of new different things. I'm going to be looking out for this game for sure. Then a bunch of crap, and then we have Far Cry 5, which is also crap as well. With Far Cry 5, it looks good graphically, don't get me wrong. But the setting pisses me off. I don't really mind, the white racist thing politic thing. I don't give a shit about that. I really don't care. It's just that we've been hearing that it could have been a Western setting. I was hyped as hell for the game, and then we find out it wasn't a Western. I was severely let down, and what we got instead, and it's like a pseudo, it's just a, you know, another Far Cry game, and it just looks like the same old Far Cry game. It looks like it'll enhance some things here or there, but it's the same old X-ray vision, and it's just, it could have been a Western, man. It could have been a badass Western, but instead we got this garbage. And the biggest announcement being Beyond Good and Evil 2, finally having a trailer, no gameplay shown, but a trailer, pretty cool trailer, pretty funny. They were cursing quite a lot too, and I was just like, really? That's what was in the first game? I actually never played the first game, and I can't wait to see how they do with the first game. Like I just downloaded it just recently, and can't wait to like start playing that before I start playing this, because this game looks freaking amazing. But be it just a cutscene, I can't wait to see what they unveil for the game. The thing is, there's no release date. That's the thing with this game. There's no final release date for Beyond Good and Evil 2. Though I am excited to see what they will unveil for sure. Then the final conference being Sony's. And they opened it up with a really cool intro with this Indian sitar music, and with like the sand coming out from the background. It like this shit, like it's so freaking cool. And then they like designed it into like the Uncharted logo and these different logos and stuff. It just looked pretty cool overall, and just like, look at this shit, like wow, whoever designed this is awesome. And just the subtle intro, and like I knew it was gonna be Uncharted, and guess what, they opened up with the new Uncharted game. I never played an Uncharted game, and I actually never had a PlayStation console ever, a Sony console. But I'm just talking about the games right now as it is, and I'm just really impressed on what Sony has done overall with their console and their games that they put out. And what got me interested is the games, and Sony did not let up when it came to the games. They had a shit ton of games, and I honestly think this is one of the best conferences of E3 so far. Forget Ubisoft, Sony did a really good job. Though I will say, as much as I will praise them for all the games that they put out, they didn't really specify or put any updates to the hardware and how they're going to compete with Microsoft. They just have the PlayStation 4 Pro from last year. Didn't really update it or say anything else from that. We also have Kingdom Hearts 3, you know, Shadow of the Colossus 2. I think it's a sequel. Though it is pretty cool to see that Shadow of the Colossus is having a sequel, be that The Last Guardian just came out last year. I think this one's going to be delayed for quite some time, Shadow of the Colossus. Though they didn't call it Shadow of the Colossus 2, they just called it Shadow of the Colossus. Kind of weird considering it looks like a brand new game. Looks like a sequel actually. And then we have Days Gone, which I'm showing the footage right now. Pseudo Last of Us zombie game. Looks pretty good, and it has Sam Witwer and doing the voice acting and the mocap. You know, anything with Sam Witwer is pretty awesome overall, except for Star Wars Rebels. But overall, he's pretty good. Then we had a hokey trailer for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Graphics look pretty... look at the faces, they don't look good at all. But they'd have a story mode, which is pretty cool. Should be better than the last one, that's for sure. But it's just pretty hokey trailer. Not feeling it. Not really feeling the game as a whole. I just like the classics, Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and you know, 1 and I guess 2. But that's about it. I don't really looking forward to this at all. PlayStation VR, no, I'm just kidding. God of War 3, I think it's 2 or 3, 4, no, it was just God of War. I've never played God of War games, but this one looks cool. It's like a Last of Us hack and slash type of game. It looks pretty cool. It looks really good overall. Definitely graphics look phenomenal. The enemies you fight looks really good. And then we have the hokey Call of Duty World War II game, and it just looks like the same old Call of Duty bullshit. Like, we've seen a million times now. It's the same old, same old. I mean, did they even enhance upon anything except for having the setting World War II? Not in my opinion, no. Like, it just looks so generic and boring. Like, it's the same old bullshit. As much as flack that Assassin's Creed will get, how come Call of Duty doesn't? Like, it's the same old bullshit we've seen a million times now. Like, at least Battlefield 1 was like, looks somewhat interesting, you know? It looks good. But come on, this shit looks bad. Then we have Monster Hunter World. Now, they premiered this in the Sony conference, but the thing is, it's actually coming out for Xbox One and PS4. It's really surprising considering that never before have we seen like a Japanese game like a big Japanese game like Monster Hunter come out for a system like the Xbox. That's pretty phenomenal, man. I'm definitely going to be playing this on the Xbox. But it's not coming out for Switch. Nothing for Switch yet. I mean, it could be coming out for Switch soon, but nothing for Switch yet, which is pretty huge considering how Monster Hunter, I think the third Monster Hunter game came out for the Wii U. That was the last, you know, console Monster Hunter game. This is the next big console game, and it's coming out for PlayStation and for Xbox, but not for Switch. That's a huge deal breaker if you're a Switch owner. The fact that it's coming out for Xbox, oh man, I think I'll be getting it, man. I really am, because I'm a big Monster Hunter fan. I'm not huge into it, but it definitely looks really good, and it just, oh man, Monster Hunter, man. It's been a while since I've been playing it on handheld, but now I want to play it on the big console, and this is what I want, man. This is what I'm talking about. And lastly, we end with the Spider-Man game, the new one. I don't know if it's open world, but the fighting and the mechanics of the game look really good. It looks like a really good game overall. Really impressed with this game, the new Spider-Man game, because we've gotten really shit Spider-Man games, and it looks like a good, you know, honoring like the Ultimate Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, or big open world type of games, though it does have a good story like the Spider-Man 64 game. This one reminds me of that, but I hope it's open world, big open world game just like that. If not, it's not a huge deal breaker, but it would definitely help with that. It does look really good. I think it's coming out just for the Sony system, but it could come out for Xbox, who knows? I don't know. So that is Sony's and E3 conference as a whole. Definitely, you know, all of the conferences have been pretty impressive. I just really like what I've seen so far, and really looking forward to a couple of big games out there. Not every single one by any means, and I might have missed a bunch, but I am looking forward to a lot of these games that are coming out. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to please like this video, comment down below, tell me what you think of E3, and what games you're looking forward in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys next time, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Django Fett. See ya.